Hi everyone, welcome to Norma today. My name is Norma and I'm really glad to be here. So, weddings are in the air, weddings are trending, and the past week, two Nollywood personalities got married, Kemi Adetiba and Rita Dominic, and I have to add that they're quite respected members of Nollywood. So I've seen pictures floating all over the place on the internet, and well wishes and commentaries and all that, and I can't just help but add my voice or join to say happy married life to them. But in saying that, I also like to say that I've observed a lot of things in the course of the week and in the course of the celebrations, and I just wanted to note some of them. They might be unpopular opinions, but I just feel like it needs to be said, because I feel like if you do not face reality before marriage, you will have to face it after marriage. Now, society probably refers to Kemi Adetiba and Rita Dominic as people who got married late in life, because Kemi Adetiba, I think, is 42 years old and Rita Dominic is 46 years old. So in the minds of people, they got married late. But I want to address certain things that I've seen come up on the internet. I just feel that it's important for us to talk about these things. Some of my points might be unpopular, and I think my final point is the most unpopular or controversial one, so please stay tuned so that you can hear. The first thing I want to talk about is something that we've heard over and over again, but it seems like it's not really making as much impact as it should, and it is that the lavishness of your wedding ceremony is not an indicator of how successful it will be. And it's always shocking to me. I mean, it's different for people who have never been married to have all those romantic notions, or just feel like, oh, it's so beautiful, it's so coordinated, oh, they're shapy, oh, they're the train and all that. It's one thing, but when people who are already married, who know that these parameters have absolutely nothing to do with whether or not a marriage will thrive, when they still perpetuate that whole picture, that whole notion that it matters, when truly it doesn't. I mean, it's wonderful if you can have a very colorful wedding, but it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. It will not have any effect on the success of your marriage. Whether the coordination of your dance was fantastic, whether or not both of you cried at the altar, it still can lead to a divorce if due diligence is not taken. So let's not get carried away. Am I being too realistic here? The second thing I also noted about both marriages is that most people seem to think or say that God has done it, and God might have done it, but I'm asking now, how do you know God was the one who did it? I mean, it's just pictures, it's just digitally enhanced pictures, it's just carefully curated smiles. It's every single thing that we're seeing was organized, was done properly, probably because there's a lot of money involved, but is it a true indicator that God has done it? I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I think that the standards that people are using to measure whether or not it was done by God are completely different from maybe what God would use. God's ways are different from our ways, and usually the people who know whether God or not has done it are both people who are involved. They know whether or not it was God that brought them together, or whether it was God that orchestrated everything, or it was carefully schemed, or there were intrigues, or there were manipulations. The third thing I noted was to be aware of the accolades of men, of the opinions of men, of people who will come and clap and say, oh, you're doing it well, because they're just people, and people are fickle, their opinions are fickle, their affections are fickle, so they're just swaying in whatever direction the wind is blowing usually. And like my husband will usually say, when they talked about the royal wedding, everybody was oohing and eyeing, but in just a matter of weeks, when things turned around and the scandal was in the offing, everybody just immediately turned and stopped supporting. The major supporters stopped supporting, and then turned around on the people who they were clapping for. So accolades are good, they're great, but please don't take them to heart. Now, my fourth and most controversial point is the assumption that just because somebody got married later in life means that they are marrying well. There's been this whole thing of marry late but marry well. No matter how much I want for it to be so, people don't just get rewarded with great marriages because they are getting married late. That is not the only thing that matters. Whether you marry at 20 or 30 or 40, if you make a bad choice, you will have to live the consequences of a bad choice. Now, Hopefully, your not getting married early would have afforded you enough time to develop yourself, to mature, to learn to manage your emotions and all that. But if you didn't spend that time doing that, if you have kept all your bad behavior, whether you're a man or a woman, that length of time has even solidified those habits. It will be harder for you to lose them, probably harder for you to live with somebody. So just because you're getting married late, if you have not prayerfully and purposefully decided or made a choice on who you're going to be with, you can very well suffer the same consequences as somebody who got married in their 20s or their 30s. What am I trying to say? I'm just saying that the principles that govern, making the choice of the right partner or finding somebody to be with still remain the same, whatever age you may be in. And marriage is full of shocks. You want to be prepared for some of them, and I have a video I'm going to link in the description to tell you about 5 things that will shock you when you come into marriage. Please check it out. I hope you've enjoyed my video. Please, if you have, hit the like button. Please subscribe, give me a comment, tell me whether or not you agree with my point, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.